Okay, today I'm doing a non-fasted ride. This is the first time in ages, other than when I've done cycling events, that I'm doing a non-fasted ride. And this is just to see how the blood sugar behaves when constantly fueling up. I'm just going to be fueling up on rocket fuel, basic junk, biscuits and sweets and stuff. So honestly, there's no nice way of putting it. I feel crap. My blood sugar has tanked. It's down in the threes, so as low as it has ever gone. Basically, it's a hypo. I'm having low blood sugar, and that's because once the porridge spiked the blood sugar, it just came crashing down like a ton of bricks. So I was wondering why I was feeling so sluggish just those first few miles getting out of town, and now I can see the blood sugar is super low. So yeah. Now I know that all that sugar is in my liver and some in my muscles, so I will be able to exercise for at least an hour off that porridge, regardless of what my blood sugar says. But this is the myth that people have, that your blood sugar is high when you're eating carbs, because when I was fasting last week, my blood sugar was much higher. After 35 minutes, the blood sugar has normalized back to my normal fasted level, like if I was fasting. And I'm feeling okay now, so the crash is over. And I'm just stopping off for 5 minutes at my parents' place, and then we're taking it from there. After the 10-minute stopover, the blood sugar is now 6.2, so it's exactly where it was when I was fasting. It's exactly the same as when I was doing the fasted ride now. Okay, I'm eating these biscuits. It's about 45 minutes into the ride now. So I'm going to top up with biscuits, see how the blood sugar behaves. I'll probably get another chance to eat again one more time before the end of the ride. Try and spread the meals by about an hour. That's a standard practice when you're fueling your ride. Over and out. This Range Rover just drove past me and made a loud hissing noise. I know his tire's flat. It's just bad luck. God knows what happened there. Guess it's straight to the RAC now. Okay, it's about 5 to 10 minutes post biscuits, and there was a spike in blood sugar, but it didn't go higher than it would go when I was riding fasted, and it dropped again, so it crashed quickly. So because I'm exercising, the blood sugar doesn't go high. That was half a pack of biscuits, and the blood sugar never went outside the normal range. It did spike, but not higher than the normal fasted range, and then it crashed. So now it's down to the lowest it ever went at the end of my 3-hour plus fasted ride last week. So it's interesting stats here. I'm feeling okay, feeling level, but the blood sugar is fluctuating big time, and it's going really low all the time. One and a half hours in or so, blood sugar 6.3. Last week on the same road when I was fasted, blood sugar was the same. So currently the blood sugar tracks about the same, but non-fasted there's a lot of fluctuation, as you can see on that graph. When you're eating, blood sugar goes up and down, but the downs aren't as bad as they look. And I was saying the same on my fasted ride. When the blood sugar goes down, it doesn't cause that much of a noticeable change in feeling. However, when I'm eating the biscuits, I do feel just that extra 5-10% confidence in pushing hard compared to when I'm fasted. That is true. Fasted training is great for zone 1, zone 2 training, up to about 80% of maximum. Above that is suited by rocket fuel, But I'm gonna give you a strategy that bridges the two, the fasted and the non-fasted, so that you can be healthier and benefit from both. I'll explain at the end. 15 minutes since the biscuits. I've started riding quite hard. I didn't want to. I just felt this wave of energy. Now this is a natural response, especially in young kids. But basically, when your blood sugar starts going up and you're inundated with sugar, the body tries to protect itself by making you exercise vigorously. That's to bring the sugar down. It's a way of protecting you from high sugar, because high sugar is actually poisonous to your body. So this mechanism never fails in kids. You put sugar in them and they go running off like a wind-up doll until the sugar has burnt off. And it's to protect their bodies, but it gets dulled in adults, and adults can eat a packet of biscuits and just flop asleep in front of the TV because we no longer have that response. But obviously, when I'm exercising, that response is definitely still alive in me and it kicks in. Okay, I'm gonna have these now. These will probably get me home. These are mini eggs. And then I'll make one last push if I need more. I have this gigantic Easter egg in here as well. I'm hoping not to eat it because it feels like a bit much. So let's see how the blood sugar behaves with the mini eggs. Less than 5 minutes in, I'm already time trialing because I just have such a huge boost of energy. I just feel like burning it off. So I'm flying down this straight road. Flattish road. This should be the last half hour or so of riding, so let's push it. It's been more than 2 hours now. Blood sugar holding steady at 6.2 since the Easter eggs. Kind of what I experience on a fasted day in the morning or when I'm riding fasted. So 6.2 seems to be the blood sugar that allows you to work quite hard. It's just that you can sustain it longer when you're putting in sugar compared to when you're fasted. However, there is a trick you can use to extend that stable, higher but medium blood sugar when you're fasted, and I'll explain it shortly. Almost back home now, and ride is almost over. Still feeling really fueled in the muscles after those Easter eggs. It's been 25 minutes since the Easter egg, so I'm still heavily fueled. I just pushed all the way home. Blood sugar is 4.9, so it's about the same as it was at the end of the fasted ride. So I think you're seeing the pattern here. There's almost no difference. The only difference being when you top up with the sugar, the blood sugar behaves differently from when you're not exercising, in that it doesn't spike up very high and then it goes back to baseline very quickly. Now, where that sugar is going is into your muscles, so it serves as a top up. So basically, fasted training is good for up to 80% effort. If you want to go that 80 to 95%, the sugar makes that difference. Gives you about 10% more on a long-term sustainable way. Now, what does that really mean? What that means is zone 1 to 2 training can all be done fasted, almost regardless of distance once you get conditioned. And if you're doing intervals and stuff like that, obviously using sugar can make things better. Now what I'm gonna do is just wait for the blood sugar to drop back down after training, see how it behaves after the fueled training compared to the fasted training, and then I'll pretty much leave you to your own conclusions. Now, what can be learned from the two experiments I've done? I think it's fair to say all training less than an hour long does not require any fueling, no matter what and no matter how hard. if you want to fuel a ride because it's long and it's hard, you only need to start fueling 60 to 90 minutes into the ride. In fact, fueling before can be a disadvantage, as you saw, because I didn't start riding as soon as I finished the porridge, and within 15 minutes my blood sugar had crashed to actual low blood sugar level. So it's better to start fueling in the ride, and it's better to start fueling 60 to 90 minutes into the ride if you want to use a fuel strategy. Personally, I'm not training for the Tour de France or the Olympics. It doesn't matter if I finish a ride 1 minute earlier or not, but it does matter if I ruin my metabolism by stuffing endless calories in. I can walk around with less than 10% body fat all the time because I don't fuel my rides and my teeth are not rotten. That's more important than finishing a ride 1 or 2 minutes early. Honestly, we all need some truth bombs. If you're not lean, and if your blood sugar is not behaving well, or you're becoming pre-diabetic, you should consider fasted training. Shoveling all this junk into your body makes you feel crap, and it doesn't have much of an advantage. Over and out. Okay, I'm back in the house now, and it's hot as hell. I looked at the overall pace, and although I felt like I was pushing hard on the sugar-fueled ride, the pace was exactly the same as the fasted ride. So it wasn't faster, and I've noticed that over the last 15 years of experimenting, that the pace does not get improved in the fasted versus non-fasted rides. It's just that the non-fasted rides, it feels easier to generate that pace, and you don't have to put as much intention into it. But in the end, I can't go any faster when I'm fueled compared to when I'm fasted, unless the ride is longer than 2 hours long. Rides longer than 2 hours, eating does allow me to hold a faster overall pace. But for zone 2 rides, long distance rides, the fasted is not that different when I'm fit. But it does feel easier when you're eating. However, the thing is, you've got to think of your health, your teeth, your metabolism, your blood sugar control. And for health, eating sugary products, whether you buy them in a shop or they're sweets, whatever they are, they're all the same. Sugar is sugar. It's not great for your health, and you've got to have a really strong reason for doing it on a regular basis, let alone a daily basis. Okay, 15 minutes after ending the ride, the blood sugar is now shooting up. That's because of the sugar from the carbs that I had approximately 45 minutes ago, the Easter eggs, while I was in the later part of the ride. So that sugar is still releasing. While I was riding, the exercise was stopping the blood from being filled up with all that sugar, because it was just going straight into the muscles to offer energy like petrol, like fuel. But now that I'm not riding, it's flying up. And this is what I try to teach the people I coach when they fuel. Try to stop fueling half an hour to an hour before the end of the ride, because whatever sugar fuel you take at that time is not going to be finished within an hour, and your body's going to keep on releasing it, and your blood sugar may end up very high and then crash. So that seems to be happening to me, even though it's been about 45 minutes and I was riding quite hard, and it was just a small pack of Easter eggs. It's still releasing, so there was still more energy to go. An hour's gone by. Blood sugar seems to have just dropped back to normal, so I'm just going to get on with my day now. And yeah, looks like I've got all the data. So basically, when you ride fasted, your blood sugar goes up at the beginning of the ride, stays up for as long as your body can produce sugar, then starts to go lower and lower and lower. When you ride with fuel, your blood sugar kind of maintains a similar sort of average as when you're fasted, but it keeps dipping, and you have to keep topping it up, and it keeps dipping. And then towards the end of the rides, you should stop fueling and give yourself 30 to 45 minutes just riding without any refueling. And when you finish, there's absolutely no need for carbs. Just take in proteins to recover, because your blood sugar will just stabilize on its own, and you can continue the rest of the day. Don't eat more at the end of the ride. You don't need a huge recovery meal of porridge or some sort of carbs. You just need pure proteins only, in real form, like chicken or eggs, fast digesting proteins, not protein shakes, because they do actually spike up your blood sugar, kind of like the sweets. I hope this is helpful.